clubs, the closing stretch. We are back this week. The boys are back from their adventures in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Guys, is it a bit of a shock back to reality now?
Absolutely.
So depressed.
Well, Neil, I think you're going to be quite happy. I can see it looks like you're in some sort of hotel room. You don't have to put up with your brother's snoring anymore.
I know. It was one of the best nights sleep ever last night.
Duncan, I see selfie action on your social media. You got a little selfie with Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. He came over to me and he said, "Duncan, can I get a pic, please?" And I said, "Oh, go on, Rory, go on." So Neil had got the photos with the footballers, and I thought, how can I possibly top that? And then Rory happened to walk past. It just seemed too perfect. So me and Rory, best buds.
Ideal. And of course the DP World Tour action still going on in Dubai, and they still have their final round to play. Third round has just finished, and it's left a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth, Neil.
Been tearing my hair out all morning. Lee Westwood was advised by us at 66-1, and he got himself into a fantastic position there. I think he was joint leader at one point. He unfortunately played his last 6 holes in 4 over par, including a treble bogey on the last. So I think he's 4 or 5 behind now. It's probably a bit too much, but we were getting excited at one point. But hopefully we've got a few chances in the Farmers. So fingers crossed.
Okay. Right. Well, it's a little bit strange this week because the Farmers Insurance Open started on Wednesday, finishes today, Saturday, because there's the NFL playoffs happening on Sunday, which is probably a very smart move. I've been confused with the golf schedule all week. It's very easy to figure out, but it's put me completely wrong. So, well, Dunk, let's have a look at it right now, because at the top of the leaderboard, I mean, we had Jon Rahm up there right away, who just goes hand in hand with Torrey Pines. He won the Farmers here in 2017. He got engaged here. He won the US Open here last year. But and Justin Thomas too, the two of them at the top, a little bit of a slip away, and right now tied at 14 under par, Will Zalatoris and another guy who loves this place, Jason Day.
Yeah, absolutely. When I did the in-play blog for the website yesterday, I kind of pitched it as JT against Rahm, over the final 2 rounds, and it's completely morphed into something else. It looked like it was just going to be a runaway battle between those two, and now we have Zalatoris and Day at the top with Rahm and JT trailing. So it's going to be an interesting final round. Whereas before it maybe looked like a bit of a match play situation, perhaps between the two. We've got quite a lot of contenders now, so certainly a lot to analyse here.
I mean, it's great after seeing the golf we had last week for the American Express. The courses are completely different. I mean, Torrey Pines has been a real test, and the rough that Rahm complained that there wasn't enough of at La Quinta, an abundance of here, and it got him to a couple of problems yesterday. I mean, a 72 for Rahm on Friday and a 73 for Justin Thomas. So it's a much tougher test, which we knew it would be.
Yeah, the double bogey that he made on 10, wasn't it? When he drove into the rough, just shows you how easily you can make mistakes around here. I don't think he even had that much left in terms of yardage to the hole, like 140, something like that. And he ended up making double bogey from nowhere, really. So there's definitely bogeys and doubles and all sorts of numbers possible around here, which is great from a viewing perspective.
Yeah. Right, Neil, let's talk about Will Zalatoris then. He shot 65 yesterday and at the top of the leaderboard right now. What do you make of Will's chances in this final round?
Yeah, well, I didn't actually get to see much of a round due to the travelling, but reading back, it looks like he was tee to green just exceptional yesterday. I read something like he missed two birdie putts under 5 foot. He could have been much lower. It sounds like his new driver in the bag. I think he's got an extra inch on his driver, which has given him more distance. So it sounds like he's the most confident he's ever been with his driver. He's obviously still looking for his first PGA Tour title, which is quite surprising for how much talent he has. And I know it's only been a short spell on tour, but you would have thought he would have been off the mark by now. But this is a great chance for him. he's picked tough company to beat if he is going to do it today. That's what's probably putting us off the odds the most. And also, I think he's going to have to hold a bit more putts today if he's going to get it done. It's unlikely that the big boys like Rahm, Thomas, Sungjae Im, even Dustin a bit further back, you'd expect one of them to make a real good move today. So Will's going to have to hold his fair share of putts. He's 4-1 in the betting here in the UK, and it's just a little bit too short, given Rahm's close proximity.
Yeah, as you say, tee to green, he's exceptional. It's those short putts, and we've seen it quite a lot from him before. I mean, it was like a tap in from less than 2 feet, and you can see when he putts on his stroke, there's a wobble almost with these short putts. And we have to remember as well that he did finish only one back at the Masters last year. So he's used to being in contention on the final day. I feel like we've seen him in contention so many times. He hasn't closed it out yet. But, I mean, you don't really get a much bigger stage than Sunday at the Masters.
Yeah, and that was a really good performance, actually. Although he never really had a strong chance of winning, I think Hideki was always in control for the majority of the round. He never really shied away, and I think he only ended up 1 or 2 back in the end. So, like you said, he has to be respected, but it's just a tough leaderboard today, and 4-1 is quite short odds for us to be backing him, I think.
Right, Duncan, what about Jason Day then? 2-time winner at the Farmers Insurance Open, and obviously thrives around this course.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big Jason Day fan. He's obviously had his injury problems in the last couple of years. And last time out, when he was in contention and had a good chance at Travellers, he was clearly struggling with a back injury and kind of went backwards a little bit. But you can't forget that he's a former world number one. Like you say, he's got a fantastic record round here. The question would be that obviously he's not been in contention all that much in the last couple of years due to his various ailments. And whether this is maybe a Sunday too soon, maybe he needs this experience again just to kind of get out of the system almost. And the next time around will be the time that he seals the deal. But I certainly think that he will go close today. And I like him to go well. He said in his post-round press conference that he's feeling fit and he's no longer in any pain. And a Jason Day at Torrey Pines who's not struggling with injury is certainly one to be respected.
Okay, well, Duncan, you said at the top of the show that you thought it was going to be a bit of a 2-horse race between Rahm and Thomas. What do you think about Jon Rahm closing it out today?
Kind of mixed feelings, really. When I did the blog yesterday, as I said, I thought it was going to be a 2-horse race. And what I was really hoping for in yesterday's blog was that Thomas would pull maybe a shot or 2 shots ahead of Rahm going into this final round, and it would really be Rahm then closing Justin Thomas in and really kind of chasing him and being the aggressive chaser, much like he was at the US Open when he went on to win there. I think he was 3 shots back going into the US Open final round, and he obviously came back and won. But now that the leaderboard has changed, I'm not as keen on Rahm as maybe I was when it was just looking like a race between him and JT. I think that now that we've got Zalatoris, Day, and some others chasing behind, I think that kind of gives a bit of a different complexion. And Rahm's had his difficulties on a Sunday of late. Mm-hmm. He didn't manage to win the Tournament of Champions. Albeit Cam Smith was amazing on that Sunday, and he had a few kind of mishaps at the end of last year as well. And I just think that the 11-4 is maybe a bit short on Rahm, and that's not a price I don't think that we wanted to take. I think if it had been Rahm against JT and Rahm had been 2 or 3 shots back, 11-4 might have been a price that we were interested in. But given that there's a number of contenders up there, I think we're going to pass over Rahm at the short odds today.
Okay. Right, well, Neil, let's look at the chasing pack, because it's a real mixed bag of very experienced players on the PGA Tour and guys looking for their first win.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of guys in contention. I was looking at the past year since 2010, how far back the guys have come from. And Brandt Snedeker has won twice here from, I think, something like 5 and 7 shots back. There's been a lot, I think only 3 times in the last 11 editions, there's only been a round 3 leader gone on to win. and one of which was Tiger Woods with a 4-shot lead. So we can just write that one off. But yeah, so I think back to the 10 unders are all in this. DJ won't count himself out. He's 4 back. He was actually a tempting option for us. He's 33-1. Sort of this tournament in the final round, the best players tend to rise to the top in the end. It's what happened last year. And I think it'll happen again, to be honest. We're in a good position with our pre-event bets. We've got a couple of the guys at 11 under, Maverick McNeely and Ryan Palmer. So they were both tipped up by us at 66-1. They were only 3 shots back. So we're quite hopeful one of them is going to have a real good go at it today. The bet that we like the best, though, is Sungjae Im. So he's available at 12-1. We have Sungjae down as a really strong closer of golf tournaments. He doesn't get himself into contention as much as you think a guy of his talent would. But once he does get himself in and he's a couple off the lead, he's really, really dangerous. So we saw it Shriners last year. He fetched, I think it was the final round 63 to blitz past everyone and win there. Similar thing for his first win at the Honda Classic. He came from well off the pace there with a low one. So we think he is the value there out of the odds. So 12-1 available. So we're going to go 2 points win only on Sungjae today.
My 2 picks at the start of the week were Ryan Palmer and Francesco Molinari. They were both looking really good, and then Molinari had not the best of days yesterday. But Ryan Palmer, as you say, in a great position, and he lost in a playoff with Jason Day, and Alex Noren. Day went on to win just a couple of years ago. So okay, we've got some good names there. Anyone else that we're looking at for bets for the final round?
So we've got a double, a 3-ball double again this week. The players are obviously not off in 2s; they're off in 3s for the final round. So there is a double that we do like. Pays just under 5-1, but there are 2 strong selections, and I think it should give us a good run for our money. So the first one that we like is Dustin Johnson, and Dustin Johnson is up against Taylor Pendrith and Sepp Straka. Dustin has the edge on them both in terms of his long game stats this week. He's hitting more fairways. The quality of his approaches is better as well. He is around about even money in terms of his price on his own. But we like Dustin to have a strong final round, and he's our first selection in terms of our double. The other one that we like is Kevin Streelman. And Kevin Streelman is up against Taylor Gooch and Kevin Tway. Taylor Gooch and Kevin Tway, their scores this week have really been built at the North Course, and obviously we're on the South Course this week for the final round. Gooch and Tway have been worse on the South Course compared to Streelman for the 2 rounds that they've played so far, and Streelman's available at 2-1. It's a pretty solid bet, I think. Obviously Taylor Gooch has been a strong player in the last couple of months. But Kevin Streelman's no slouch in terms of a match bet or 3-ball betting. So we like the double on Kevin Streelman and Dustin Johnson, just under 5-1.
Okay, and Streelman was an inch away from an ace yesterday as well. So all the good vibes. One name that we haven't talked about is Aaron Rai, and I feel like it would be wrong of us to not mention the Englishman who's over there, and 13 under par, only 1 shot off the pace, has put on a great performance.
Yeah, it would be doing him a disservice not to talk about him, because it's an unbelievable performance so far. I was looking at stats this morning and I can't believe how far he's hitting the ball, and he really is like playing some top quality golf. Let's not forget he's a winner on the European Tour, I think twice, and he's also won 3 times on the Challenge Tour. I know it's some way off this level, but he knows how to get the job done, so you never know.
I think, like for me, I had big concerns after watching him. I watched the final hole at the Boise Open at the end of last year when he secured his PGA Tour card, but he was 1 shot ahead playing the last in the fairway, and he took a double bogey and he lost the tournament by a shot. And that's big alarm bells for me. Like the scenario and how it played out was just a bit of a car crash, really. His short game just fell to pieces. And given the trouble on the last hole that we have here at Torrey Pines, I've got absolutely, I'd have big worries, I guess, about having Aaron Rai on my side coming down the last hole. I know he won the Scottish Open and beat Tommy Fleetwood, but I kind of feel Tommy Fleetwood handed him that to a certain extent as well. So no, it wasn't for me.
I do love the fact that the 18th is a par 5 as well. It's such an exciting way to finish the tournament with some great names. Right, well, that's the guys' insight into the final round of the Farmers Insurance Open. Thank you for watching our show. Please subscribe. We do the closing stretch for, well, it's usually on a Sunday, for the final round of the PGA Tour tournament, and you can find it on YouTube. We've got the podcast on all the usual podcast apps and websites as well. And guys, how do people sign up to your amazing service with all these blogs and tips that you give them each week?
So if you log on to golfbettingclub.com, you'll see all the information about how to sign up if you'd like to sign up for our pre-event tips. We do an in-play blog after each round on the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. So you can log on to the website and see our in-play tips for free, and you can access those. And there's also over 150 player profiles on there as well if you want to find out a bit more about your favourite player. In terms of social media, at Golf Betting Club on Twitter and at Golf Betting Club Official on Instagram.
We'll see what kind of selfies you put up there this week. Right, thank you. Next week, we're off to a big one. It's the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and we'll catch you then.